This is where I spend most of my time. Since we moved here 4 years ago, I wanted to build a home studio which suits all my needs. And this means I can do everything from video and photo editing, clients work like graphic and web design, podcasting, and of course music production, recording, creating beats, mixing, mastering, all that stuff. And to answer this question, once and for all, let me give you a quick room tour of my home studio with all the details you need to find out if this will fit your own creative process. I linked all products in the description down below like a real influencer does, so make sure to use those links to support me with your purchase. Let's dive in. The heart of this room. An Apple Mac Studio paired with the Studio Display. Only cost me one of my kidneys, but it's worth it. Nothing kills my workflow more than a slow computer setup. I got it almost maxed out, but for 95% of creators the base model is enough. Even the M1 Max is just insanely powerful and fast. I just like to get a future-proof setup, so with this one I'm good for the next 3 to 5 years, I guess. Next on, studio monitors. Quite important if you're creating content, no matter if it's music production, sound design for your films, beats, whatever. I use the Yamaha HS8 paired with a subwoofer for over 6 years now. These speakers are still a bang for the buck and I can highly recommend them to everyone who wants some more control over their audio. But I had one problem with the Yamahas which drove me nuts. They are not shielded against external radio frequency or other disturbing ground noise, so when I plugged in my Apple Studio Display there was a terrible interference sound coming out of them. I knew it was time for an upgrade, so I did my research on a higher quality pair of speakers and my decision fell on the new Adam A7V's active studio monitors. Adam Audio is known for outstanding gear from musicians and artists since their foundation in Germany in 1999. They were kind enough to send me their new A7Vs for this video. Anyway, this is not a paid sponsorship, and if you know me for a while, you know that if I had something to criticize, I would do so. After testing them for mixing audio, sound design on my videos or mastering of my songs, all I can say is, good job, Adam. No matter if you want to produce music or bring your video sound design to a new level, studio monitors are essential to getting a balanced and crisp mix on your films. If you use regular hi-fi speakers, no matter how expensive they are, you are not listening to the original sound. Regular speakers most times boost your low end and high frequencies so it sounds better for the average person, but if you're working on videos, films or music that gets listened to on different devices like phones and cars, soundbars or grandma's old radio from the 1960s, you need a linear frequency output which you'll only get with a quality pair of studio monitors. Let's go on. My audio interface. The Apollo Twin X Duo. This is where your studio monitors, your microphones and headphones connect to. You can't just plug them into your computer directly, and also most studio microphones need 48 volts of phantom power to work. This interface is the best I've ever used. Of course, it's not cheap, so if you're just recording some voiceovers, podcasts or starting out to record vocals, you find a link to a cheaper alternative which is awesome for its price. I used it for several years and it's just around 150 bucks. Here we got a simple CF Express card reader. If I shoot internally on the Canon R5, I use a CF Express card. It's 5 times faster than the best SD cards you can get, and this is just for transferring the footage onto the Mac. Okay, let's talk microphones. You've probably seen this one before, the Shure SM7B. Best mic for my type of work, used in recording studios, podcasts, radio stations all over the world. The main reason I picked this over any other large diaphragm microphone is that it's a cardioid dynamic mic. So even if you don't have a perfect insulated space or some background noise, this mic only picks up the sound right in front of it. All my songs were recorded here without any vocal booth or further isolation. If you want to take a listen, I put a link of my alter egos Neil Moody and Young Sony on Spotify below. By the way, this is also recorded with this mic. As a headphone, I'm also using a classic, the Beyerdynamic DT770 Pro 80 ohm version. Super comfortable, especially if you are wearing glasses like me. Sometimes I'm wearing these for 5 hours straight and I don't got any pressure points or pain on my head. This is the X-Key Air from CME, super tiny MIDI keyboard, perfect for playing in some melodies into FL Studio or creating film scores. It can be used with USB but also with Bluetooth only and almost zero latency, so no cable tangle on my desk. The desk itself is from a German brand, I can't remember the name, it's not written anywhere, but it goes up and down and that's all that matters. Already 8 years old, I didn't like that fake wooden board which came with it, so I just bought a new tabletop out of real oak wood. Okay, let's move over to camera gear. Here I got the Canon R5, my main camera with the RF 35mm 1.8 and a Tiffen Pro Mist. It can shoot macro as well. Autofocus isn't the best, but I like it, especially because it's so small and lightweight. The camera is mounted to a tripod from Zero, carbon fiber, super lightweight, sturdy, not the cheapest, but if you're outdoors often like I am, you don't want a heavy tripod in your back. Lenses. I got rid of most lenses over the last years and just kept the ones I really use. Beside the 35mm, I got the RF 24-70 2.8. Attached you see the Vilium Magrota system to stack some filters on top and the 70-200 2.8. But if you're just starting out, get a 35mm or any other small prime and first learn to shoot on it. In 2016, when I started this channel, I only had one lens on my first Sony camera and it was a 30mm 1.4 APS-C lens from Sigma. I shot everything on this one lens for almost 2 years. Here we got my boom mic for overhead recording, super sensitive microphone from a brand called Octava. The MK012, it comes in this little wooden case. I just like the look and sound of this one, but you have to get really close to your subject's mouth and you need 48 volts phantom power to use this. Last but not least, lights. This is the Aputure Amaranth 200X, a bicolor COB light, way cheaper than the 120D and also brighter. Perfect for indoor use, and if you get this instead of the Lightstorm models, you have some money left to get a proper C-stand. This one's from Neewer, I got it on Amazon. Completely made out of steel, it holds the 200X as well as this gigantic light dome with ease. Then we got the Aputure F22C RGB light mat. When I don't got enough space to pull up that huge light dome, I use this one. It's not only bicolor, it's full RGB. Can be used with Aputure's Sidious Link app. Only thing I don't like, the fan is too loud. If you're recording audio, you have to put the controller in another room. But the build quality is just awesome and it's way easier to take it with you in small spaces compared to the big light dome. And that's it for my YouTube studio home recording, video editing, mixing and mastering setup, whatever you want to call it. And before I have to sell some more organs to pay the bills from all this shit, just use my affiliate links down below if you also want to temporarily fill the emptiness inside of you.